Today we have Lord Brahma here. He's here to say a few words today. So wise words. What do you have to say today there, Lord Brahma?
The material existence is temporary.
It's temporary. Oh, okay.
It comes and it goes.
We already know that. Tell us some deeper wisdom.
Boom. You can have fun with it.
Yeah?
Play with it.
Play with it, huh?
Yeah.
With material existence?
Yeah.
Yes.
On all kinds of levels you can imagine. You can just jump in that and play and fantasize and make a mess of it or something funny.
Okay. Yes, we have, if you just come, we have Lord Brahma here speaking to us from his heavenly abode, Brahmaloka. Okay, come on, we've studied all this kind of basic stuff. Tell us some postgraduate wisdom.
Okay. Postgraduate wisdom. The highest I can find is pastimes of Krishna. And how to relate to that. I'm searching how I, Brahma, fit in there.
To the picture, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to your two other heads? We heard Brahma had 4 heads, and we only see 2 nowadays.
People will become too distracted if I have it on this material body. They make fun of me and make a kind of circus around me. So I prefer some rest around my physical area.
Is it true you can look in all directions?
Yes.
That was pretty amazing. Let's see you do that again. Let's see you look in all the directions, various directions simultaneously.
Simultaneously. Okay, then I look inside with my third eye. I can look at all directions at once. I feel there's someone there.
There, huh? Yes. Okay, Brahma. You haven't showed us anything new today, so we'll
It's old stuff.
Who is this guy? That's kind of strange. What does that look like to you guys?
I think I need a mirror for me.
What does that look like to you guys? Does that look like an anise? It looks like an anise, man. Okay, that's enough of this here. Let's get more serious about life. All right, so I was thinking we read a little from Srimad Bhagavatam here. Oh, I can't do that from that phone. I have to do it from the other phone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for bringing us all this wonderful transcendental knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay.
40 P's from somewhere local. 40 at least 20.
So I was thinking we read from the 11th canto. I I know it hasn't been translated by Prabhupada, but it's still good. I like some of these stories in there. Yes.
She said she's not good at actually, so I can go already now.
She didn't even ask me. What is it?
I reckon she needs to. 20th. 2 o'clock.
When's his wedding?
Okay.
The weekend after her birthday.
I don't think I've got the kids.
Well, it's all the kids. You don't need to go, it's just for the kids. She's going to invite them.
I don't think I've got the kids. She's not said anything to me. She hasn't mentioned it at all.
She's got a long rational mandate or something.
No, I got the kids that weekend. I was off work, so she's got that weekend.
All right, Srimad Bhagavatam, Cant Do 11. Yeah, starting with the second chapter. It's also one of my favorite chapters here. You know, it just it's really nice. Maharaj Nimi meets the Yogendras. These Yogendras, they're the 9 Yogendras. They're devotees who travel in a group. They just go all over the universes and they just see everything in relationship to the Lord. The window spot. Oh, hey Tom. Hey, welcome. Thank you for coming. So today we're going to read a story here. I won't bore everybody with chanting Hare Krishna all day long. Even though it's kind of fun. More than that, more than fun. Okay. Shukadev Goswami said, it's actually the same thing. Shukadev Goswami said, oh, you know what, I'm going to put the microphone so I don't have to speak so loud. We don't pick up all the noise here around us. Let me know if well, I'm sure you will. Too early for Hari Bol, okay? Yeah. So Shukadev Goswami said, eager to engage in the worship of Lord Krishna, O son of the best of the Kurus, Narada Muni stayed for some time in Dwarka, which was always protected by the arms of Govinda. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, eager to engage in the worship of Lord Krishna, O best of the Kurus, Narada Muni stayed for some time in Dwarka. What are you doing?
I'm looking if I can get this broadcast, but it doesn't.
If you can get this?
Yes.
Oh.
It didn't show up.
Oh, you just go to my page.
Yeah, it doesn't show up there.
Oh, it doesn't, huh? Really? Am I? Oh, yeah, wow. Here, okay, you know what? Let me advertise this a little bit here. Maybe I didn't do enough of it. Okay, I'm just advertising here. If you guys can spread this video around also, because some people aren't getting it. Okay, I probably hit you somewhere there. Okay. Right. Okay, that's enough. So, which was always protected by the arms of Govinda, Krishna, you know. So why was Dwarka always protected by Krishna? Why was Vrindavan always protected by Krishna? Why was Ayodhya always protected by Ram? Okay? See? Because of the Vaishnavas, or the devotees, they were devotees. They depended on the Lord. They were in their eternal positions. They're in their eternal positions. So that's why the protection is there. The problem in the world, people are taking shelter and protection from the Maya. And she's not a very good protectress. That's the problem. You know, because we need to be protected. I mean, this is our nature, is to be protected. Our nature to be purified or polluted. If you take shelter of the Maya, you don't get very good protection. It seems like it's good, you know, it seems like it's okay, and then it always fails you in the long run. Okay? If you seems like you want to get purified, but you never get quite pure. I mean, you do things in a mode of ignorance, and you get contaminated. And the person in the mode of ignorance thinks, "Oh, I'm purified." You know, you do things in a mode of goodness or passion. You think that's going to purify you. You know, you're going to go and earn wealth and make a lot of money, and you just get real passionate. That's not purification either. Engage in those activities. And then, the mode of goodness, you're doing all this regulative devotional service or regulative activities, and you feel somewhat happier than you did in the mode of passion, right? And you feel somewhat protected, but is it perfect? Even the demigods die. They live for millions of years, but they die, and they have to come back here. So nobody is fully protected or purified or inspired. You notice people get inspired by different paths, and they're always change. They have to change after some time, because usually some people spend their whole lives doing one thing, but usually you're changing your activities because you get a little bit bored, or it's not enough. Okay? So devotional service, like the devotees of Krishna, or any eternal associates, they get purified by Krishna, they're protected by Krishna, they're inspired by Krishna, or they're inspired by an incarnation like Lord Ram, inspired by Lord Chaitanya, inspired by Lord Shiva, okay? Inspired by Jesus Christ. You notice a lot of people are very inspired, they build churches and stuff. Go out and tell people about, this inspiration, and it's eternal. See? So what are we promoting here? Oh, and by the way, what is the difference there? Because we're worshiping Krishna, and there are devotees on the level of Vaidhi Bhakti worshiping Krishna. Is there a difference in protection? Okay. Well, there's more of a danger of people leaving the path if you're just at the level of rules and regulations and doing it out of mandates of the scriptures, because there's not a lot of feeling there. There's knowledge. You get some knowledge, and it sounds really good. And it is very good. It's wonderful. It's from the acharyas. But if it's lacking a feeling, there's always a danger, and that's called the neophyte position. And Prabhupada said there's danger there still, because without attachment to the Lord, you can't take full advantage of this protection, purification. That's Shuddha Bhakti level. That's what we're teaching here. How to get that kind of protection. And distinguish it out also from this level of the Vaidhi level. One thing one gets protection is from the modes of nature. And if you're worshiping Krishna on the mode of goodness, you might be protected from the mode of passion, but it's very hard. You got to really work at it, man. You got to really discipline yourself, right? A lot of discipline, a lot of things like that. If you're so you got to really work at it, even in the mode of goodness, to feel somewhat on your level of goodness, to stay there. Okay? Now, Shuddha Bhakti is another thing. Okay? Shuddha Bhakti becomes natural. That's why you call spontaneous devotion. You very easily get the protection of the Lord. You very easily get the purification that Shuddha Bhaktas experience, and that's eternal. See, once you start to taste that inspiration by devotees who worship the Lord in ecstasy, see, that's now talk about happiness. There's happiness in the mode of goodness, and there's happiness in Shuddha level. See? That's really rapturously juicy, ecstatic. Nothing like it. See? His Krishna himself is his own happiness. You know? And this can only be described by those, see, unless you actually are tasting Shuddha Bhakti, you cannot describe the other levels of consciousness, right? That's the problem. If you go to like the I won't say any names, but the name directly because it seems offensive, but religious organizations like the more of a mass things, they don't understand this level. They can't distinguish it out. Like when I first came to a mass Krishna organization, I'm trying to be nice, not, offensive. But it's my truth. It's they didn't distinguish everything out. They didn't distinguish Shuddha Bhakti from me. They just said, come become a devotee. And this is what devotees do. You follow our guru says, get up early in the morning, do Mangal Arati, do Guru Puja, do Tulsi Puja, do this, take prasadam, and just like a clock, you just, the arms of a clock. And every morning, they said, this is what you do. See, so that's more or less the mode of goodness. You're trying to cultivate the mode of goodness, regulative devotional service. They couldn't distinguish out Shuddha Bhakti understanding. Okay? Because that's for who? To those who worship Krishna with loving ecstasy. Bhagavad-Gita 10:10. I give them the understanding of how to come to me. See, if you don't worship the Lord in that ecstatic love, that loving ecstasy, that unalloyed love, you don't quite get the full understanding of how to come to Krishna. A lot of people end up leaving and going somewhere else too. And it's like, I've heard this before. If you just stuck in that Vaidhi level, there's a tendency to think, well, that's kind of neophyte. Maybe I should go somewhere else to learn something else about, because it's just rules, regulations, and all that. Not everybody's into that fully. They want to kind of move on from that. So Freddie says it's only this material that one needs protection from Maya. In the spiritual world, she is not present. Yes, she is. Inconclusive, Freddie. Why is it inconclusive? Let's see if you can answer that. Why is what you said inconclusive? She's not in the spiritual world. Let's see if anybody can answer. It's an easy one, no-brainer. You guys have been around long enough. It's coming a ritual that we're doing, ritual. So anyway, there's that. So you answer that question, somebody out there, and then we'll pass out degrees. We'll give you a what do they call that? A bachelorette degree. Bachelorette? No, Bhakti Shastra degree. If you can answer that question, it's a very easy one to answer. So you came, got it. Okay. So, my dear King, in the material world, the conditioned souls, Yoga Maya, yes, see? Yeah, and you don't need protection from her. Even Krishna surrenders to her. Only us foolish living entities, we surrender to Mahamaya. And then we got to put the poor guru, the poor spiritual master through so much trouble as you're going through the conditioning, get the conditioning out of you. You got to sit there and just see the old story come out of you like a ghost. See, the old story is Mahamaya. That's that part that never really could. It helped us along, but not very well. And it's just always a problem, and gets you kicked. See? But even Krishna surrenders to Yoga Maya because she's a pure devotee. It's like basically Radharani, she is in charge of this devotion. Well, actually it's Purnamasi or something like that. But anyway, this Yoga Maya is the other aspect. It's really... She is simultaneous in both worlds, yes. Yeah, exactly. She is, actually. But yet, in different manifestations. Okay. My dear king, in the material world, the conditioned souls are confronted by death at every step. Therefore, who among the conditioned souls would not render service to the lotus feet of Mukunda? It's practically everybody. The reason they do that is they don't know. They don't know. This is what we're talking about here. Rendering devotional service is how to get free of death, birth, old age, diseases. They don't know that. See, so, and people are conducted by suffering the reactions to serving this Maya. They don't know. So that's why the Lord and the Lord's devotees come here, to teach these things. So that this was, if anybody listens to the devotees preaching, what are they preaching? What's in the book, right? You're learning what's right in this wonderful book here. And it just makes it more clear so that you can know what is the path. People are walking in this darkness here. They're just bumping into this and bumping into that. They're blind. This is real. These are the eyes. And a devotee, they love these books. See, they love these. They have affection. They have attraction. Because this is Krishna. Krishna is this knowledge. We read this morning, actually, in Sridhar's prayer. Sridhar said, you're everything, man. You're greed, you're darkness, you're light, you're everything in the material world. That's you. But he's also this. This is his Shuddha Bhakti manifestation, this book. This is light. See? And it takes the devotee, Bhagavat, who is attached to this light, to describe it. See? Then you get it really clear. See? So, my dear king, in the material world, the conditioned souls, what is this conditioning? Is what you see coming out of the devotees coming here. They're getting exercise. As a matter of fact, this is, if any of the Vaidhi Bhaktas in these organizations, when they realize they can't make the next step until they exercise, they got to be squeezed out that conditioning. You notice some of that? You get some of that out of you? See, so why? See, so that you're hollowed out, man, so that the Lord can come inside. So it squeezes out it's like a toothpaste, squeeze out all that conditioning inside there. It's like a liquid, all that contamination and poisons and speculations out. See? And then you're born again. What happens when you're actually born? Air, right? You take a breath. Well, that's the breath of God when you do this. Kind of squeeze out the conditioning, because the life of the Lord starts to come inside. Okay? And then you got a new life, man. You don't need that conditioning anymore. Did it make you happy? As it's coming out, we all watch the conditioning of people, and it becomes really obvious. They say, hey man, it's very good this is coming out. Blessed are those who lament. Blessed are those who mourn. They shall be comforted. See? And that's when the new life comes, that Spirit, the Holy Spirit comes, you got comfort. And so anyway, in these movements, these mass spiritual movements in Vaishnavism, they have to come to this individual work. Because unless this stuff starts coming out of them, how are they going to really know Shuddha Bhakti? They can't even recognize devotees yet. So one by one, when the devotees are willing to get purified, by this burning up of all this conditioning and karma, exercising this out of them By associating with devotees who relish Shuddha Bhakti. That's how simple it is. Being around that association automatically starts this process. This is practical. Okay? Otherwise people think, oh, let me just put Krishna on top of all this junk. You notice that? And they're walking around, look at me, I'm a pure devotee, and they're full of this pollution. It has to come out, man. Okay? That's the whole problem why Vaishnavism isn't moving ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I feel it's like coming from a situation where we are dependent, we depend on some things, and then we become independent, becoming free from the conditionings, is coming to independence.
Mm-hmm. You can just wear it there.
Yeah, that was.
Wear it.
Okay.
Here you go. There you go.
So being born and coming from coming from a dependent situation into transcending the dependence.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain it a little bit more, what you're talking about?
You were talking about becoming born, and then you come from a situation which is what was the word?
I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, so see, we're dependent on Krishna always. We're marginal. The truth is we're marginal beings, okay? We have to serve Krishna as our nature. So we serve him in the Maya, and we're dependent on that. We're dependent on service. You notice everybody's serving here, right? They're serving in different ways. You know? Even in the mode of ignorance, they're serving the senses, alcohol, whatever, drugs, stuff, and so what is the result of that service? It's really a terrible situation, a lot of suffering, right? See? Mode of passion, people are serving what? Economically, they're serving fruitive activities. They're doing, I'm going to do this so I can make a lot of money. See? Or I'm going to marry this woman so that we can have children and have a wonderful family and live happily ever after. See? But there's suffering there too. And so when you get tired of these things, okay? So we're dependent. We got to do something. So you got to act, because that's our nature. So, and we're dependent on Krishna, either in the Maya. All this Maya is him. In the dark shadow, it's his shadow. Okay? So now we're not really becoming independent, but by serving Krishna's transcendental form and nature, but we're becoming dependent on the spiritual nature. And you notice that here in our own Sangha, people become very dependent on connecting with Krishna's transcendental potency. They want to serve Krishna. See? And what is the result of that? There's a result. The result of his ecstatic devotion. See? And that burns away our dependence on the Maya. See? That exercises that material dependence that we have on the Maya. So in a sense, you're becoming independent of the Maya because of transferring that dependence on the spiritual potency. Okay? So you get that by association with those who are dependent on the spiritual potency for life.
And that's what you call become reborn.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's the rebirth.
That's the rebirth. See, the rebirth is learning to serve Krishna's transcendental potency. Now you qualify to enter the kingdom because it's ecstatic. If you look at Nectar of Devotion, I think Techniques of Hearing. No, it's somewhere in there. It's in one of the chapters where you're doing devotional service in ecstasy. And that's not even the full thing. But you can become qualified to enter the kingdom of God, because once you're at that ecstatic stage of attachment, Now, that attachment, see, attraction. This is it's our attractions that either bring us here or there. So if we're attracted to serving Krishna's transcendental form in his name, his pastimes, and be around his devotees like this, then we go to them, and then the rest is just, off. It purifies very quickly. Even here, the more we can do this sadhu sangha activities that we're doing, the more we're getting purified and deeper attracted. It starts here, okay? And you reach the point of ecstasy. That's that reborn. Now you've got a new life. You still may have some attraction to this. Many Christians, they have the attraction there, and they still have some attraction to this, but they have this Holy Spirit of worship of God, and it's so juicy, and that purifies more and more, and then less and less of that. So most Vaishnavas, they don't know these intricacies. They think it's all or nothing. You just become a pure devotee, and now you're not it's all or nothing. Now I serve Krishna in ecstasy. Oh, that's non-existent. You become like completely indifferent to that. That is not it at all. That's not even in our books. But Prabhupada didn't speak about that at all, actually, because he's talking to a bunch of neophytes who just can see black and white, all or nothing. That's, you just can't. You can't discern the subtleties.
Attraction is taste also.
Taste. Yeah. See, attraction, taste, relish is all synonymous. See, isn't it? I mean, so we have a tongue, right? And we taste material, gross things. Okay? This is a taste. Okay? You can look at it like this. Under this material body is a spiritual body. It's like a spiritual tongue. And it tastes the spiritual dimension, and that's tasted through sound vibration and mantra. That's why the devotees who have that awakened taste, they taste the chanting. They taste the hearing. They taste the topics of Krishna. They kirtan and see like this. And so they're just engaging in this taste. This is their food. It's like you eat, right? Taste food. Why? Because it nourishes the body. Hopefully, eat the right things. and so the same thing. This transcendental body is nourished by tasting the mantras of Hare Krishna mantra, the names of God, the names of Lord Chaitanya, especially Lord Chaitanya. It's why it says, if you hear from devotees, very quickly you start to get this taste. Just from hearing, you're like, oh, wow, I like to hear. Do you like to hear these topics now?
Yes. It feels like absorbing. The taste was touched and developed, and there was that ability to absorb became stronger and stronger. The taste to absorb, and being in the Sangha is wonderful. Then you are in the environment that you want to get, that you want to absorb. You are greedy for the taste of this Sangha. It's present in this Sangha. So there's an attraction to the Sangha, and then it just absorbs.
Yeah. Oops. I'll just see if it showed something different than mine.
Yeah, it is not only a one-way direction, that absorbing, but it also grows by giving, not only receiving. It's communication.
Yeah. By giving, can you explain that more?
Doing service.
Doing service, yes. That's why it says by regular classes in Srimad Bhagavatam and by serving the devotees, the guru. And what are you serving them? You're trying to help, expand things. Freddie, there are quotes in Shastra that pure devotee doesn't have a tinge of material desires. There's quotes of Prabhupada saying that, but that's not true. And then when you look in the word for word, you see he uses a different thing. It's just the way it is, Prabhupada was a Brahmin, and he was teaching. Actually, and then you look in his purports. If you really look in there, you'll see it's not all or nothing. He may sometimes write that, and not a tinge, and that's not true at all. It's not true at all. Yeah, I mean, it could be true if you can find a Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das. These are persons. They were from Vrindavan now, and they were at the time of Lord Chaitanya. And even the devotees that were at the time of Lord Chaitanya, sometimes they were teaching and involved in sometimes the Mayavadi philosophies. Like Srivas, he was teaching Yoga Vaishishta, and the Lord was teaching him and said, give this up and all. Yeah, when devotees are in this world, they're in this world, and they're like little children, sometimes they get a little touched by this or that, whatever. And so a pure devotee is when devotion, a pure devotee is two types. One is a neophyte, this according to Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So now we'll learn the distinctions of the pure devotee. There are two types of pure devotees. One is a neophyte, and the other is the eternal associate of the Lord. Okay? Now, a neophyte, pure devotee, is somebody, you see that in Vaidhi Bhakti, usually they're very committed to Krishna, and they're not going to leave, but they're not ecstatically awakened yet. But they do devotional service under regulative discipline, and they're really into it. And there's maybe some taste there, so they call it neophyte. The ecstatic level is when you do devotional service in ecstasy. You're awakened by association with ecstatic devotees. Okay? Now, prove those who are neophyte pure devotees, they often don't like ecstatic devotees. They don't want to associate with them. They think they misconceive. A good example of a neophyte pure devotee? Devananda Pandit. He was a great Brahmin, a celibate, studied the scriptures, taught about Krishna. Okay? But he was adverse to Shuddha Bhakti. That's called neophyte. So he was going to be a Krishna devotee his whole life, and he was. And later on, he became an ecstatic devotee by associating with an ecstatic devotee. Okay? So, now even Prabhupada, if you look in his when he talked about gurus, it's in his diary, I think it is, 1958, he said usually even a guru is a Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari is or a higher Madhyam, I would say. So, Madhyamadikari is one who has devotion to Krishna awakened and is mature enough, and he'll be engaged in being a guru. That means they're not complete in their purification yet. Okay? They're not, and if you go into the uttam or higher uttam, where you've really let go of everything, like you just maybe drink a little buttermilk, like Raghunath Das. Preaching work is not for such devotees. They're just totally absorbed like that. But if you don't, that's why such uttamadikaris, you don't get the proper instruction from them, because you got to learn from the madhyams who are teaching like that. Or maybe an uttam may come down to madhyam, who knows, different things. Okay? But anyway, if you think it's all or nothing, then you'll certainly become bewildered.
May I say something?
Yeah, sure.
And I've got the image of a child or a small person that has a desire, developed a desire to go in a plane and fly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it doesn't know, he or she doesn't know the way. Mm-hmm. So there is someone needed to first give him a small staircase or a step.
Yeah.
To go. That's one stage.
Yeah.
First thing, to be able to enter the plane. Yeah, and then there are some other things going on when you're not familiar in that plane. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You're a passenger, so you have to get instructions there, and then you are the pilot takes you for a flight.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on.
Exactly.
You can also, when entered the plane, you can go into different directions.
Yeah.
You can communicate with people. You can be interested in the pilot or the stewards. You can do a lot of things there, but you fly. You are on another level already.
Yeah.
And then if you like, you can specialize and focus on different jobs in the plane, and on and on.
Yeah, on and on. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. So not everybody is ready to associate with Uttamadhikaris. Okay, Uttamadhikaris, the highest say, they be bewildered. It's like coming to Lord Chaitanya and seeing the Lord in all kinds of amazing ecstasies and everything, and you think, well, this guy is crazy. Okay, so not everybody is ready. So what's happening here? What do we see happening in devotional service? We see people coming to the organizations. That's why, hey, if the organization wasn't important, Bhaktisiddhanta and Prabhupada wouldn't have started them. Because it is important. Why? Well, look at what we're seeing. Not everybody can associate with what we're teaching, right? This is not in a big mass organization, okay? But people want to serve Krishna. They're attracted to Krishna by service under rules and regulations. So they're attracted to devotees who are teaching about rules and regulations in that level. Okay? But those devotees usually are not clear about the level that we're teaching, right? Now, what if we were just teaching this? Those persons who are not qualified for this level of Krishna consciousness would be out of luck, right? They wouldn't be able to even take a step. See? That's a step. See? So we're here, and that's why Prabhupada, if what I'm teaching wasn't important, why the heck would he appear? Why would Krishna appear? Because it's important. So we have our department, like Balaram was saying. We have the Prema department. So, but people, not everybody's ready for this, but they're ready for coming into engaging because of the mandates and the scriptures, and there are a lot of gurus teaching that level. Okay? And some are happy and some are not happy. You know, well, when they're ready to understand that there is another department in their Krishna consciousness, you know, where there's going to be an increased amount of taste, and they might listen over here. Be ready for this. They'll know in their heart Krishna will lead them here. Krishna will draw them here, like he's already drawing certain persons. Okay? So if you get this idea out of your people's minds, it's all or nothing, that's where the offenses start. See? If you start saying, oh, you see, the Vaidhi Bhakti is all baloney, man. It's not, it's look, these gurus are not qualified. Of course, most of them are not qualified, according to, you know, the higher levels of Krishna consciousness. Okay? But they're not there teaching it, are they? They're inspired to teach what they teach. Okay? So, hey man, that's just what it is. And when people are ready for this, you know, Janaki spent 40 years, Meena spent 50 years, Johan 25 years, and now they're happier. Right? They're getting their appetite satisfied. They wanted more. Okay, so we're here. What do you have to distinguish? Am I the highest? You know, without 10%? Well, I still have a few desires here. You know, in the body. I mean, I'm not a big stone, but who's qualified for understanding? Isn't it kind of helpful to understand these other levels of Krishna consciousness, about making a distinction of what is, an Uttamadhikari completely absorbed in ecstasy love, they don't speak much. They won't tell you, how to distinguish Shuddha Bhakti from the mode of goodness and all these other things. Isn't that helpful? Isn't that helpful to understand what is part of the Maya? Isn't that what Bhagavatam is? Teaching you the difference between Shuddha Bhakti and mode of goodness, mode of passion, ignorance, all that. See, so we have our work here to do. Sorry, boat. This is a cold.
This is called transcendental boat.
Called.
Called.
Yeah. This is called, not cold. Yeah, transcendental boat. Yeah, so anyway, everybody has their work they're doing. I'm doing this work, and the offense can be, or knock you out of the thing, is you try to say, well, Gaurahari, he's not, the highest thing here. Hey man, I have my orders, I like what I'm doing. And those who are meant to, be here, they will also say, hey man, this is good for me, right? You guys know if it's good for you or not. Yeah. If you and when you're going through some tough purification, you'll say, hey man, that's what it is. You're getting rid of your old story, man. Isn't that what it is? You could see it for yourself. Say, look at this. This has been running me my whole life. This has been making me sick. Look what I've been beaten by my this and that. You're beaten by Maya, by serving Maya, that's what happens. You come serve here, you get purified of this, it's just going to get better. Okay? So you won't get any Uttamadhikari who is absorbed all the time telling you all these details. They don't have time for this. They're not inspired to make time for this. No, they just say, Yeah. See, as Prabhupada said, preaching work is not for such persons. You go see Raghunath Das, he's in ecstatic worship, man. He wouldn't be telling you all these details. That's for those who are empowered in a certain way, and they know what their job is. Everybody, And they're even in the new age and self-developed people. When they know what they're here to do, they just do it, and they're happy. But as soon as you're not happy anymore, well, that's the time to take a look at it. Like, well, why am I not happy in Krishna consciousness? Unless it's your own purification bullshit, man. Your old story coming out. Now that you can't count. You just got to go through it. If you're not happy by, getting in touch with Krishna and relishing the verses in the books, and relishing chanting Hare Krishna and all of that, well, that's something you got to look at. Could be on the Vaidhi Bhakti level, and that's not enough, because this kind of worship that we're doing doesn't awaken in that association with those who are adverse to what we're doing. It's that simple. Most Vaidhi Bhaktas are adverse to this. We can't, they're not like, ooh, what is this? So how is this going to awaken around people who don't like what we're doing? Yeah, and still, so you don't want to... the main thing is you find somebody helping you in Krishna consciousness. Whether if you can't understand what we're doing and you want to serve Krishna, well, there's the Vaidhi level. There are a lot of, and then you'll see ultimately that won't be enough, because it's pretty still, kind of awe and reverence, and could be a lot of material Vaishnavism in there, and they ain't going to be fully satisfied. So when you're ready to move on, some lifetime you'll meet devotees who are engaged in ecstatic worship. Okay?
Like you're saying it won't save you sometimes. You sometimes say it won't save you. And then there's the word anartha. Mm-hmm. And unnecessary. It's one translation of the word anartha. Unnecessary.
Yeah.
So keeping focused on getting results from unnecessary things. It keeps you down on the ground and not gets helps you flying in that Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to, even, so that's the bottom line is, see, a lot of people, part of ignorance is, when you're in just the Vaidhi level, you can speculate and think that if you just do rules and regulations and devotional service, you're going to be delivered. Well, yes, you will, but when, that's another thing. People think, oh, well, at the end of life, Prabhupada will be here and deliver me like this. Well, no. You've got to understand what the book teaches. His book. His book is when you do devotional service in ecstasy, in this loving ecstasy. See, Krishna is very attracted to you. You're attracted to Krishna. He's attracted to you. Okay? Now you can enter the kingdom of God there. Not just rules and regulations, because there are a lot of devotees adverse to ecstatic devotees, right? How are you going to enter the kingdom if you don't enter here? See, Jesus taught what you bind on earth, you bind in spirit. And the proof is a bona fide guru comes before you, and you say, well, I'm worshiping Krishna, and I like Krishna, and Krishna's wonderful and everything, but I don't like you. I don't like your way of worship. Well, how are you going to go where such devotees are going? Come on, man,
They are really saying, you are out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
You are out of my comfort zone. I have no taste for getting there.
Yes. There you go. And in other words, they're not ready to be delivered. So it's not going to deliver you yet. Later, you come back until you're ready, by good fortune, to associate with ecstatic devotees here. And then you start getting purified here to the point of ecstatic worship. Like here, you don't have to be an ecstatic devotee yet. All you have to do is want to be around ecstatic devotees. You'll gradually, or sometimes quickly, become worshiping the Lord in ecstasy like they do, just by association. It's like a disease. How do you get a virus? Close association, right? You breathe in or come close to that person and you get that virus. Well, that's bhakti, man. Come close to the devotees. You may not have any ecstasy, but you'll get purified. Whatever's in the way will start coming out. See? You get expunged in the whole thing, and sometimes that's one of the problems. It starts coming out. Everything, I don't like to. Well, just stay. Yeah, just let it burn off, man. Let it come, get expunged, and then get this new birth, man, where you're exhilarated doing devotional service. It's exhilarated. It is the devotees. You get to a point where you can't get life from this. I mean, there's no much juice in it. There's really none. But the life comes from doing devotional activities. Hearing, chanting, remembering about Krishna, talking about Krishna. There's life in that.
I expected that one.
Yeah. My dear King, in the material world, the conditioned souls are confronted by death at every step. Therefore, who among the conditioned souls would not render devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda? And the whole reason why they don't is they don't understand such devotional service. And that's why those who are, like Prabhupada, he was Uttamadhikari, I believe. But yet he taught Vaidhi Bhakti, didn't he? He came and did that. That's why you don't even know that an Uttamadhikari might come down and teach whatever. They teach Vaidhi Bhakti, may teach Raganuga Bhakti. Yes, like, sometimes Vishnu takes the position of a Lord Brahma in the universe. You know why? Because there's no qualified person, So Vishnu himself comes and takes the position. Somebody's got to do it. So that's service, seva,
Wow. I really feel something. What is...
Go ahead and do this, and I'll go to the bathroom, and I'll look at this while I'm in the bathroom. Go ahead.
what I was feeling is what do I like? How do I like to go in that plane? And I like someone who teaches me how to enjoy the trip, not just only the one who shows me, oh, this works that way and this works that way. I like someone to take me by the hand and lead me into that plane of Krishna consciousness and enjoy, who teaches me how to enjoy it. And I don't like someone who gives me a drill. This is how you walk up the staircase and the steps, and you can also help people walking up that staircase and just only busy with doing that robotically staircase routine and be concerned with that and focus with that and help people with that part. I really liked to enjoy the and this Raganuga Sangha, it helps me to taste how to taste the happiness in the of the flight. Yeah. I hope he comes back for quick, because I have nothing more to tell. Maybe I sing a song. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh yeah, when he's gone, just sing a song. Just we have a short break and sing a song until he's back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
I heard that. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, lower that. Yeah, isn't that the truth? We're here. That's our position. Some people just, in Vaidhi, it's like, teach us how to walk up the staircase. It's like you go to learn Tai Chi, learn the form, okay, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and then do the Kura Puja. I mean, I was in Mayapur, and this guy really liked being a Brahmin. He liked, oh man, I just want to go. A lot of people are doing this. Let's go and learn deity, worship the form, where you lift the flame like this, and you do it like this, and you do it like this, and do it like, and I was completely uninterested in that. I was saying, hey, how about, I want to just, I like what he says. See what category you fit in. Do you want to just learn how to walk up the staircase? In Krishna consciousness, you walk up like this, and you do it like this, and you dance like this, the Swami step, like this. Or do you want to learn how to enjoy transcendentally? Like if you do that for a while, fine. But do you want to go on the inside of how get to this level of spontaneously, ecstatically devotion awakening in your heart, being like natural, ecstatic, rapturous love? That's this work. But if you just want to learn how to do the Swami step in this way, that way, and how to do Guru Pujas, and how to set up the tray for doing the Archa Vigrahas, and how to dress the deities.
Get tired.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to learn. But if you want to learn how to awaken that transcendental tongue and relish the ecstasy and chanting, because that's what's here. This is, like he said. So that's why he's here. He wants to learn how to enjoy, not walk up the staircase, up and down. You walk up like this and you walk down. You walk up and you walk down. Okay, that's fine. Some people say, hey man, I think this is really fun. I'll do this for 10, 20 years.
Good luck.
I want to learn all I can about Archa Vigraha, how to dress and that's okay. I mean, could be you got devotion too, I don't know, it's individual, but I notice a lot of people are just really into the external rituals, They go to a fire saying they see the Brahman out through. I mean, it's like impressive, man. You got the flames going and the flyers, and the people flapping flags, It's like, wow, man. A lot of external things to look out there, and the lights. Pretty soon they'll have like the Christians have light shows now and disco and the light balls going around and worship. They got to make it so it gets some feeling,
It's nice. It's nice for a while, but at a certain moment you want to update.
Yeah, update. Yeah. So we're here when devotees are ready to update. What we consider, I mean, you may not consider it an update. But we do. I mean, that's why we're here. Because all I notice is the ones who are coming are ones they say this is an update for their Vaidhi Bhakti practice. So I assume that they know what they're talking about. They've done it long enough. Okay. All right. So, Sri Vyasadeva said, "My Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit..." Oh. Yeah, I don't know if I went too far or not, but this is a great verse. It's verse number 4. Sri Vyasadeva said, "My Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings." Like a father to his children. See, to his children. So, this like a father has a certain family, right? They have a certain, people that belong to his family. This is my family. See? And that's how it is. When you find the Lord or the Lord's devotees, they come to collect their family if they're preaching. And usually the Lord, if he comes here, he's going to preach. If the devotees come here, they're either going to do this, ecstatic thing like this, the Bhajan Nandi, or they're going to preach and engage others and also relish also at the same time. Or they're going to come at the levels of Raganuga student or Vaidhi Bhakti student. See, so the pure devotee neophytes and pure devotee advanced, liberated. This is the update. Madhasun, so your update has been blocked, so you need a stint to help. The flow of bhakti operation is over too. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's for the benefit of all living beings, and so everyone benefits from the devotees here that actually are engaged in spontaneous devotional service. So they benefit the Vaidhi Bhaktas just by seeing them. They get purified. All that stuff they say, blah, 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 blah. They're getting purified.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's nice to when I have a trip, I want to enjoy the trip by boat or by plane. Yeah, it's nice to be in a family.
Yeah.
When there's a family around, it's lot more nicer.
Yeah, it's nicer, isn't it?
What if I'm there alone and doing that? It's no fun. It's fun with associates. You can communicate and play and move all around, and it's so nice to do this crossing this ocean of samsara together with family. Yeah. That's fun. That's fun.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen persons who have left here actually with this idea, I want to do solitary bhajan. That's really, this is like Maya, illusion, driving them away. A couple of times this has happened, few times, actually 3 or 4 times, and that happened to Prabhupada. Some they say, well, I'd like to go and do solitary bhajan. And Prabhupada said, what are you talking about, man? Solitary bhajan? You found a devotional family, You got to learn how to serve and do service and everything. And maybe later on, in the advanced stages, you might do that. But God, not for generally. Most devotees are not.
We want to be a team.
Yeah,
for fun, not for only for doing this it the right way and in the right order and the right circumstances and puzzle it together. And so we want a teamwork just to have fun, and then when the fun's there, when the ecstasy is there and the Raganuga, it's all going smooth and lubricated.
Yeah, and that's basically, you see what we're working on now is getting devotees, getting them purified enough so people can see that this is really fun. Right now it's in the stage, there's some fun, and many devotees, and they go from fun to misery, and then they put the misery, you see how miserable I am, and so people got to look at their misery also. But anyway, that's part of getting washed. So we're what do you call it? Doing the dirty laundry here, cleaning everything up, so that people become steady and really liking this devotional service, so it becomes really attractive to others, right? So we're all getting this cleaned up so that, hey man, people say, wow, that looks really attractive. Oh God, I think I want to be your friends. But right now we cannot be fully attracted because you see people getting up on camera and they say, yeah, but you see, it's necessary. So I don't want you not to do. Just be yourself. Keep doing whatever you got to do. But look at people. Look at like some that are coming out. Like Lalita, she's coming out of that, and it's like becoming more like, wow, so deep and all that. See, so it's all necessary. That's why we're doing our laundry here, and everybody's got to go through what they got to go through. Okay? But can you imagine where it's going to be in 2 years from now? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and people coming, getting washed and everything. It's just going to get more beautiful, more powerful.
Celebration.
Yeah. And people will want to serve the spiritual potency more than the Maya, because look what the Maya does. It's all that stuff coming out of you guys, out of us, and once that's out, and now we just get into more pure Krishna consciousness, people will be attracted. They think, hey man, this is our ticket out of here. To join the devotional family. So anybody that's coming, don't get deterred by the purification people are going through. It's just the old story coming out. So it comes out, so it's releasing that. Okay. So you especially help the most wretched among them, as well as those who are advanced on the path towards the supreme Uttama Sloka. And that's both the Lord and the Lord's empowered guru. The spiritual masters like that. They help the most wretched and the advanced. You notice that? Even here, you could see the symptoms of this. We have persons that are advanced from previous lifetimes coming. You can see, and they very quickly pick it up. Okay? And those who have a lot of karmas and all of that, they can come also. So everybody can be encouraged. In this family, it's open to everybody as long as you're willing to be here with us. Right? So those who have a lot of heavy attachments and stuff, and you can be encouraged by those. You can see, wow, because they've done what you've done in the previous lifetimes, and they've been like, it's been really hard and all that, but they stuck it out, and now they're where they are at. So you see, at least you're on the team. You're on, and everybody can serve according to their ability. That's the beautiful thing. It's like that little bird. Lord Ram got service so that the gave opportunity for service so that these living entities could become purified. So some, like Hanuman, were so advanced and so powerful, and so they could serve in a big way, do big type of service. And so Hanuman got a little bewildered too. He saw this little bird coming, wanting to serve Ram enthusiastically, and only could put a little tiny speck of dirt on the thing to the mountain. He wanted to make these rocks float, So Hanuman would bring a big mountain over and make a bunch of, big things. And this little bird with enthusiasm would put a little speck of dirt on the thing. And Hanuman says, "Oh, why don't you sit over to the side? What is this little thing like this?" But Ram saw a whole different thing. He said, "Don't forbid that. Little bird, I enjoy that service so much."
That's the fun.
Yeah, the fun. It's not about quantity, it's about quality too. Even if the person's trying their best, and they just have a heavy, heavy rocks they're carrying along. Hey man, the Lord appreciates it. The Lord will help, in that way. So everybody is benefited by devotional service. And that's why I don't bar anybody from this. It's that you don't have to be, super qualified, or, did you live in a cave? Well, you can come over here, I haven't. So the activities of the demigods lead to both misery and happiness for the living beings. Yeah. What?
Happiness, there it is.
Yeah. Misery and happiness, the activities of the demigods. See? And the activities of the demons lead mostly to misery. Okay? So there you got this mixed stuff, mixed in the modes of the mix. And happiness and misery is material happiness, and that's not much. And misery is from enjoying material happiness. So happiness back and forth, See, but Lord Chaitanya came to give us something beyond what the demigods can give. Shuddha Bhakti.
Yeah.
Okay, here, you read some. Here, start with verse 25.
25.
No, 5.
Okay. The activities of demigods lead to both misery and happiness for living beings. But the activities of great saints like you, who have accepted the infallible Lord as their very soul, result only in the happiness of all beings.
See, so that's this Shuddha Bhakti, man. It's happiness for all living beings. See? It's universal. Universal happiness is Shuddha Bhakti. It's for everybody. But some people are not attracted to that universal happiness because they don't understand it, or they don't know what it is, or they're adverse to it. Say if you're like real demoniac, you're adverse to it. If you're a demigod, a lot of times you're not into it. See, you're like a Devananda Pandit was like more of a demigod. He was into the happiness of the mode of goodness. See, and still there's some distress there, happiness. Is this because? Yeah, so therefore he wasn't attracted to Shuddha Bhakti. But if anybody does associate with devotees who have this devotion, teach this path, see, that happiness is universal. It becomes everyone's happiness, because there's nothing greater than the happiness of Krishna. There's nothing the greater than the treasure of, this is the pearl of great price Jesus was talking about. This happiness is eternal. The happiness of the demigods is good and bad and all of this stuff, pure and impure, and avoid the impure, stay with the pure, and still, you can't help it because, you're going to go some impure stuff, and there'll always be something. That's not eternal. Okay? If people can come to the point of becoming exhilarated by chanting the holy names and pastimes and qualities and talking about Krishna freely, like great, it's transcendental happiness. And that's what they do forever in this kingdom of God. That's what we're teaching here.
Whoa, I'm so happy you gave me this one.
Yeah?
11:2:5 Srimad Bhagavatam. Whoa, it's so, whoa, yeah.
Say a few things.
Yeah. That playing around in the happiness on the level of the three modes of happiness, of goodness and passion and ignorance. That are the activities, and that is the focus of the demigods. Mm-hmm. But it's far, far, far more the quality of happiness to
Shuddha Bhakti.
Yeah, to the bigger, that's a lot bigger picture, a lot of bigger happiness there.
Yeah, it's just like like if you're in Krishna consciousness, in say ISKCON or whatever, and you're taught, well, let's cultivate being a Brahmin. See, let's do activities that make us real Brahminical, like this. So you're cultivating activities of the demigods, more or less. And then also you say, okay, but chant your rounds, and you're chanting your rounds out of duty, and you're not getting a lot of taste in that yet, but you're doing it because of a regulative program. You're very disciplined and regulative. Okay? So still, you can't go beyond the happiness of the demigods yet, because you still think like a Brahmin. This is pure, this is impure. If you associate with devotees who are tasting the transcendental potency, you can rise above that. Otherwise, very hard by your own strength to get purified and all that. Okay? And then you start to get a taste for this transcendental happiness. Even if you're in whatever mode you are, you can transcend them all by faith in a bona fide guru, faith in an empowered devotee teaching this path. That's it, man. You can come from the lowest mode of ignorance just by holding on tight to a devotee. And whether you're passion, ignorant, or even goodness, you hold on there to and get purified of all that garbage that you've accepted as truth, and that includes the demigod stuff. People need to get exercise of the demigod stuff. You notice? Because what attacked Vrindavan? Demigods too. Didn't Brahma come and steal the cowherd boys away and put them away? Didn't Indra come and send the showers of the miseries of the demigods? The disturbances. Okay? Isn't it the demigods always, not always, but often tried to disturb the activities of pure devotees? Okay? So that's, if a person just takes shelter of the Shuddha Bhakti like the devotee is taking shelter of it, then you get the shelter that they get. Mm-hmm. Krishna himself, he takes shelter of the Govardhan Hill pastimes, right? And he's just sitting there thinking about Govardhan and all his wonderful pastimes in bliss, because that's all Krishna does, is think about his devotees and his pastimes and all of that. That's what keeps him happy. And they held that on his pinky, and he used that to shelter the devotees under it. So, in other words, if you hear Hari Katha about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya or Krishna or Lord Ram, you're getting that shelter of the pastimes. That's holding it, that's keeping you purified, it's keeping you inspired, It's helping you rise above the modes of nature, all of them, even goodness. Now that'll deliver you.
Yeah. The shelter the demigod offer, according to that you also get your amount of happiness. But it's just a small part of the much bigger shelter and a much bigger happiness you can get there to fly with this family.
Oh yeah.
And to this mercy, this happiness is so much bigger. So why settle for the small part?
Yeah, well, people don't know that, and that's why we have our discussions to distinguish this. Even like that's why those who have been, like, say, Johan did regulative devotional service for 25 years. So there's like a ceiling on it. It's like, well, hey man, where's this going? It's not really fully satisfying. So he went, now he's here, and now it's more satisfying. And this is how Krishna gets us. Once we do ecstatic worship, then he's got us. Then you can never give it, because there ain't anything better than that. And you just get purified enough, and then you just hold on to that and just keep going. We go deeper, 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 deeper in that forever. I mean, why do you think we're doing so many classes? I mean, what person in see, this is proof in the modes of goodness. Generally, people, they can't give class every day, 3 times a day. Why would they? Because they don't have enough taste. Why am I doing this? Because it's great taste, man. I get more greedy, want more.
This never becomes dry. This sauce never becomes dry. It's expanding more and more and more ever.
Yeah.
It's the conclusive update, the ultimate update.
Well, that's Shuddha Bhakti. If it ever does become dry, then the well, is some kind of offense or some kind of thing is blocking that. And therefore, then it won't be interesting, because even the devotee, if I ended up getting dry, and sometimes it's kind of like, could be separation usually, but if it say dried up, man, then everybody, myself, would say, well, there's no water in this well anymore. What's going to happen? I can't live. So that's why here Krishna himself sustains his devotee, because once you get hooked on this, who's going to inspire you? The Lord himself. He has to, because he can't. See, if we're not getting juice off of these modes of nature, it's our nature. We have to serve. See? So he's going to give us juice from our devotional activities, because, that's what he does. Yeah, because Prabhupada gave the order. That's right. I mean, that's why it works. That's probably why what's being gotten in this Sangha I haven't seen it gotten anywhere else. Who has actually gotten the order to do this? To share the level of ecstatic devotion. Okay, go ahead.
Those who worship the demigods receive reciprocation from the demigods, in a way just corresponding to the offering. The demigods are attendants of karma, like a person's shadow, but sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen. Maybe once again?
Go ahead. Do it again. Yeah.
Those who worship the demigods receive reciprocation from the demigods, in a way just corresponding to the offering. The demigods are attendants of karma, like a person's shadow, but sadhus are actually merciful to the fallen.
Yeah, that is interesting. You have anything to say about that?
It feels for me, yeah, like we already said, when somebody takes shelter in that realm of the demigods, he receives bliss and happiness corresponding to that part. It's partly. But then the next verse, or the next sentence, the demigods are attendants of karma. They work with karma. They work with they work with karma, like a person's shadow. They're working in the shadow, but not in the light. But sadhus, they are actually merciful to the fallen. So they are working in the light. The persons who fell out of the Sangha of the demigods, they fell in the light, and they are cared for by the sadhus. So they are more merciful. They are in a bigger, more strong light and more strong happiness.
Yeah. Also, the demigods are attendants to karma. So if you're in the mode of goodness, then you reciprocate with those in the mode of goodness. If you're in the mode of passion, the reciprocation is with those in the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of ignorance. So, but only the sadhus, who are actually transcendental to the modes, can help everybody in any mode. But the demigods, if their power is only on the level of demigod, they can, and that's why even like say Prabhupada, he's beyond being demigod stuff. He's a Shuddha, transcendental personality, but he can help people. If he saw, oh, let's help them and come to the mode of goodness. Let's teach Vaidhi Bhakti and all of this, and so he can help them. He can help those in the mode of passion come to goodness, and those in the mode of ignorance come to passion and goodness also. And that's why that was the ceiling. The Lord said, okay, just focus there. Bhaktisiddhanta also, more or less. See? Write the books and later on. See? But a sadhu, he could have, if he got the order to, okay, teach Shuddha Bhakti, teach ecstatic Raganuga Bhakti and all. He could have waited, but that wasn't the order. Devotees, like Moses got the order from God not to do what Jesus did, but to do a Moses thing, rules and regulations. They're both servants of God, but it was just what the Lord wanted to have, done, what was necessary. Vaidhis don't worship the demigods. They are in the best situation, situated in the mode of goodness like the demigods. Yeah, I mean, it's a good position when they're ready to understand what we're talking about. It could be a good position. It depends. And sometimes, maybe people that are, that haven't done Vaidhi Bhakti, if they come, that might inspire them. And then think, whoa, God, look at these people. It's like the wives of the Brahmins. They were just wives of Brahmins, and they got the mercy of Shuddha Bhakti first because they associated with ecstatic devotees, and the Brahmins were unwilling. So the same thing could happen here. If the people have no qualifications, they didn't follow this path or anything, but if they come here and are attracted, they'll advance further than the Vaidhi Bhaktas do, just because they are accepting this association. Just like they'll get love of God first before the Vaidhi Bhaktas do, who don't understand the principle we're teaching here. It's in their own books. just tell them, the wives of the Brahmins, they went to an ecstatic devotees, they got love of God very quick, came back to their Brahmins, and their Brahmin husbands, listen, look at this, they got the results that we are not getting doing our Vaidhi simply by association with ecstatic devotees. That's the principle we work on here. Yeah? You just say, hey, simply by coming here, because ecstatic worship is here. You come here and associate with this family, very quickly you'll get purified and move through all that bullshit, that old story of serving the Maya and how it's made you miserable will get purified out of you, just because simply you're associating with ecstatic devotees. Okay, go ahead.
O Brahmana, although I'm satisfied simply by seeing you, I still wish to inquire about those duties which give pleasure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, and there we go. So I notice in Bhagavad-Gita, Prabhupada talks about, so often, he's starting with beginners, okay? So, give pleasure to the Supreme Lord. The scriptures say to do, offer this, offer a leaf, do it with devotion and all this. And people are doing it. But how much... See, real devotion is spontaneous, and it's ecstatic and rapturous, right? Like this. How many people are doing duties on that level? See? So what when I hear that and some people continue to teach, just keep doing like external, walking up the stairs, external bhakti and all that is fine. See? But the teaching here is do those duties. Now, you're learning about Raganuga Bhakti principles. Whoever's willing to listen, you can learn these things. It's stronger than just doing that in Vaidhi Bhakti association. If you follow these principles that give pleasure to the Lord in a bigger way, is you come and associate with ecstatic devotees. You hear principles, intimate, confidential principles of Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. Hear about those principles, serve this mission here. Okay? Your result will be stronger than that. Okay? And it is for many devotees already. And I got to stop there.
May I say one more thing?
Yeah.
A lot of people in our Sangha, they know when we cycle up a hill or walking up staircases, if we do it with the mantra, it becomes a whole other thing. It becomes very joyful and very easy to walk up the staircase. So there's a whole other dimension of doing it technically, how people say you should do that, you should do it like this and breathe like this. That's the external. They give external advices, but we give happiness level advices, and just we already relished that. We tasted that. That's a whole other kind of approach. It's just enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, I'm going to stop for a while. I just rest my voice. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, 7 people watching. That's great. Haribol.